Oopsies, and thanks for joining me today for another ASMR video. So today is a custom booking on TonyBomboni.com by Jenny. Thank you, Jenny, for booking. They booked the 30-minute ASMR time slot custom ASMR video and gave me permission to post this public because they're about to travel with their family, and they wanted some travel tips on this video, especially when it comes to packing and saving money during the trip. So I'm going to cover all subjects in depth for you. So if you want some travel advice, keep tuned. And if you'd like to book your own custom ASMR video, just simply check me out on the description fold below at TonyBomboni.com. Alright, and use that coupon code Tony2 for 20% off, okay? That coupon code you can use anytime the whole year, okay? Alright, so let's continue. So the first thing I want is I'm going to make some triggers. I brought some triggers and sounds here for this video, so stay tuned. But I just want to start by saying, get to know somebody who has travel experience, okay? I guess like myself, I don't really consider myself a travel connoisseur. I'm hoping to do more international travel in the coming years. You know, I've been more doing domestic within the last few years. Still some international, but nowhere near as much as domestic. So I'm like nobody compared to some people who like constantly travel. So my someone I knew in my past, I would say, was a travel connoisseur. They traveled the world twice over. Probably three, I think it was like 3 times over. Yeah, so I got a lot of wisdom about travel from them, and they even knew somebody who made those websites who talk about popular credit cards to get in this year and next year, so they knew that person. So I learned a lot about credit cards and travel from this individual in particular. You knew like high-end individuals, I keep them anonymous, but I kind of, stole some ideas, I guess, from them and applied the principles for my own. So I'll give you all the advice I've learned over the years. So basically, get to know someone who travels because they're going to teach you a lot. So that's my first advice, okay? That's going to be very helpful and important from their experience, okay? My second bit of advice, you have to enjoy traveling, period. You know, you have to enjoy the whole process from packing in your house to going to the airport, to coming back. You have to enjoy the whole thing. Otherwise, this is a waste of time and money for you. You better go find some other hobby, okay? For me, I would say my biggest hobby would be probably seeing new places. I don't like to say travel because, next week I'm going across the state, but I don't really consider that travel. It's just a 2.5-hour drive. That doesn't really count as travel to me anymore. But for some people, staying at a hotel in their town could be considered travel. That's fine, I hardly even considered, even Cancun travel because it's literally just like a hop over the Gulf of Mexico for me, so it didn't really feel like I was traveling, because I'm still in the Caribbean. I still live in the Caribbean, so but anyway, you gotta enjoy the experience, the whole process. If you have like sensitive stomach, you get easily the flu bug, this ain't for you, baby. I just have to be honest with you. Yeah, because sometimes even if you wear like a mask on the plane, it ain't gonna help, or your vitamin C is low, or you have immune system issues or problems. Like, look, I'll just be honest with you, like, you're gonna get Bali belly, okay, if you have like sensitive stomach. So maybe stick to domestic travel. If you suffer with jet lag, if you need to take like sleeping pills on long flights, is probably not for you, okay? Maybe once in a while we all deserve a vacation to travel, but you know, you have to know your limits with travel too. That person I knew, they were so used to it, you know. A domestic flight was boring to them, you know, even if it's 3-4 hour flight, it was like nothing to them. So, know your limits, you know. I jet lag easily, but like, you know, it's not gonna ruin my trip, right? I get nervous stomach sometimes, especially if it's like cold. I get like, it feels like my stomach's licking my spine, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like I'm gonna like dump everything I ate that day. But then I feel fine after, so for me, I can tolerate, you know, maybe that nervous, you know. Number 2, they call it the nervous it's, you know what I mean? But I get that sometimes too. But, you know, I'm not gonna let it ruin my trip. So, you know, just stay prepared. If you need to get, you know, pastillas to prepare you, okay? Medications to prepare you ahead of time. If you need to get Tums, you know, frequently some people get like acid on the plane from turbulence going up and down if you have GERD, or like acid reflux, you know, just prepare. Bring that with you. And I'm jumping into my next bit of advice, okay? And that is, get you travel credit cards. These are not travel credit cards. These are hotel keys I snatched from some of my travels. You know, you're gonna want to get Marriott and Hilton. That's my honest opinion, okay? Marriott, Bonvoy, and Hilton Honors. Those have saved me thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in the last 5 years, okay? Because I get to travel for free. I basically use the points system, so I spend on my credit card. This is not financial advice, by the way. I've mentioned this before in other videos related where I'm talking about money and credit cards. But I'll say it again for this video. You just basically spend, you know, buy stuff, pay bills, whatever, and the points will accumulate. So, you know, by the end of the month, I sometimes get 20,000-30,000 points in 1 month alone, on just one card alone. So, maybe it's like 30,000-40,000 points every month, let's say I get. That's enough for a night at a hotel, maybe a nicer place, you know, or 2 nights at a less nice place, right? So this is how I'm constantly able to travel, right? It's not going to be as high. My spending budget limit, I guess, some months is higher than others because I'm self-employed. I can't really predict, but you know, it's pretty high compared to most people. So, you know, I'm able to, you know, get those nights faster. So, you know, they always offer nights like rewards. So if you spend and get a certain amount of nights, I think it was like 25 nights every year on Marriott, you can renew your gold membership status, which allows you late checkout, like 2 p.m. late checkout on some available hotels. If you have to ask though, okay? You can, you know, scan from the app from your phone to get your digital key. You don't even have to check in at the front anymore. You don't need a physical copy key. I always check in anyway because I like these physical keys. But in case my phone battery died or something. But they also offer you, being gold members, like water and snacks when you walk in the door at certain available hotels. And you know, sometimes complimentary upgrades, like to different bigger suites, if you ask. You know, you always have to be polite and ask. So yeah. So if you just save up your points, you know, the other day I had 165,000 points. That's how, and Hilton, that's how I was able to basically go for free to Panama City Beach, you know, for 3 nights. So it was wonderful. And that normally would have cost me, the whole trip would have cost me $900. So, you know, I just saved almost $1,000 right there alone. So, you know, Orlando, several times I went this year, points. I stayed at all the resorts for free instead of spending all those $3,000-$4,000, you know. So you definitely want to get a credit card like that, okay, for travel, so you never have to spend money again. Now, hotels are not everyone's cup of tea. The floors, knocking on the ceiling, whatever. Okay, in my personal honest take, the nicer hotel, the less cruddy experience you'll get. So spend those points, okay? So some of them do have annual membership. So you will want to get it anyway because it covers more than. Look, I've had gold Amex, I've had platinum Amex. I'm gonna tell you from experience, it's not worth the annual fee, in my honest opinion. Okay, I'm not saying they're a bad company. They're good for some people. I've had people who've had platinum Amex that I've known in my life. It works for them. It doesn't work for me. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you, it's not worth the $750, whatever it is, for me. Okay, Marriott and Hilton has provided me way more for much less than but I know, I think one of them is Amex still. But anyway. Yeah. So there's that. I was going to get somewhere, but I forgot now. So get those credit cards. And I guess that's really it. I don't really remember. I just mostly spend on those two cards, really, because they give the points. On Marriott, you can even book houses and cabins in the woods now. It's amazing. Oh, I was gonna say, I'm also a Vrbo connoisseur, so I booked so many Vrbos I lost count. So it's kind of like Airbnb, I don't really mess with Airbnb. I like Vrbo. Vrbo's better for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, so Vrbo, they also have this system where it's like they call the one key card, and it accumulates points as well. The more Vrbos you book, the more cash accumulates. I was able to travel to Gainesville for absolutely free last year. I mean, no, it was earlier this year. It was in January, yeah. Because of those accumulated one key cash points. Okay. So same thing, and yeah, but Vrbo ends up being more costly. Not necessarily for me personally, because I work out of where I go and I film sometimes where I go. So for me, that's a deduction as well. So it's beneficial to a business as well. When you travel, you have to pay for your own time off. So that's kind of automatically a deduction for you right there as a business. So again, not financial advice whatsoever, but what I'm saying is you benefit either way, and everyone deserves the time off. Everyone needs the time off, so do it guilt-free, okay? Don't feel bad if you're worried about money. You better start getting this envelope, travel fund envelope, get you something motivated. You can draw palm trees on it with coconuts, Hawaiian woman hula hooping or something, Make it like your vision board too, something motivate you to put $20 every day in it or something like that, $5, whatever you can do, okay? And start slipping cash in this envelope. I'm telling you. You know why I'm telling you to do that? Instead of worrying about how you're going to save money during the trip, because you're thinking ahead of time. When you have a fat envelope filled with cash, you're not going to be pinching pennies on your trip. You're going to be able to splurge luxuriously because you have already put that money aside, okay? So I'm telling you, my personal advice, again, not financial advice, put the cash aside so you don't have to think about it when you go on your trip. Makes sense? Because nothing is worse than stressing about money on a trip, okay? Yeah, don't do that, okay? Another reason why credit cards are great, you can pay it later, you know what I'm saying? But be responsible, don't overspend, okay? If you spend till let's say you saved up $1,000 spending money on your trip, make sure you don't go over $1,000 in that credit card, okay? And if you do, make sure you can be able to afford to pay it back later, okay? With cards, typically I say don't go over 10%, 30% max, okay? Not just cards, your whole debt limit, okay? So don't worry if you max out one credit card, as long as your whole debt limit ratio is not over that 30%, okay? All right. So, yeah, again, not financial advice, but that's my wisdom right there. If you are too lazy to do that and you'd rather just focus on how am I going to save money during the trip, fine. Here's how you go about it. Stop spending. Just don't, you're going to go to that gift shop, the souvenir aisle. You're going to be like, oh my God, I need this Mickey Mouse ear playset, whatever, whatever the hell, I don't care. This t-shirt, okay, oh, I want to get this for my mom, I want to get this for my partner, whatever. You're going to be tempted. Nuh-uh. You just got to quickly remind yourself, I'm not going to spend, this is cute, but do I really need this right now? Does this really serve me? I'm going to go on many more trips. How about I wait? Delay gratification. Save that money I would have spent today on my future trip to Hawaii or South Carolina or whatever, New York, I don't care. Okay, so that's my only advice to you. You have to discipline yourself, and if you can't, make sure someone holds you accountable. Go with someone in that store and they're like, you can't spend that $400 right now. You need that for your next trip or your college fund, and you're like, fine, gosh. Yeah, so think ahead, think long term, think for your retirement, because you spend money so fast on vacations, and it goes so quick that you're honestly going to come back home and be like, oh damn, maybe I shouldn't have spent that much, you're going to regret it when you look at that credit card statement. So yeah, but mostly there's no regrets because you will have enjoyed your time. You're going to feel so much better when you come back home. Trust me, you're going to feel energized. Your health issues suddenly go away on vacation. Do you ever notice that? I wonder why. Think about that for a second. So, I recommend bringing crystals, okay? Bring one in your luggage, bring one to put in your pocket. I like calming, relaxing crystals like blue lace agate, blue chalcedony. Something to soothe your senses, okay? Especially if you feel anxious in a new environment. Make sure you do this, okay? These are also part of my travel tips. So something calming, relaxing, calming, healing jewelry. This happens to be green jade. So that's it pretty much. Travel lightly, okay? Don't be overpacking. You know how many times I have packed 8 shirts, 7 pants, and 6 pairs of underwear, child, and 5 pairs of socks when I don't even use half of them sometimes. If you really must, just get an extra shirt, extra pants, extra undies, and extra sock. That's it, okay? Stop with the nonsense. Nowadays, most hotels have laundry rooms and homes let you use the washer and dryer, okay? Unless the owner's cheap as hell, okay? Yes, some places charge you to use their laundry. It's freaking ridiculous, okay? So just make sure and double check the place have laundry. Just wash them, I know people are like, I know when they do laundry in my trip. Oh my God, how lazy are we, right? Everything is given to us free and conveniently nowadays with this technology. Look, how hard is it? Bam, I just threw my shirt in the washer. Done, okay? It's not that hard. Stop exaggerating. Don't be dramatic, okay? All right. I have to be tough love sometimes because some people just don't understand. They just don't get it. Okay, but don't be foolish because you're going to be dragging. What's worse? A minute to literally throw your clothes in the washer or hauling all this heavy ass luggage with you the whole way. Big booty bags. You look ridiculous with all that stuff. I've seen people with like 3 carts full of stuff. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Are you going? Are you meeting the king? Are you the king? Are you the queen? No. Sit your ass down. Stop bringing that much stuff with you, okay? I know some people are protective as hell about their belongings, but it's not necessary. Travel lightly. Oh my gosh. That's one of my pet peeves, seeing that, like, people carrying 6 luggages. I'm like, oh, you just want to show off how much you have, don't you? You just want to show off your Louis Vuitton with people, right? As if somebody cares, right? Anyways, so rant over. That's my travel rant. Doesn't that get on your nerve? Like, you must have 6 kids. Oh no, you only have 2. Stop bringing 3 trolleys. You're hogging all the trolleys for everybody. Selfish individuals. Anyway, unless you're gonna be gone like 2+ weeks, fine, okay, overpack, be my guest. Jesus Christ. So, with shirts in your luggage to fit them nicely, all you have to do is fold them like this, okay? I'm just keeping it real with y'all, alright? I have to be honest. I don't like liars, and I hate lying. Okay, so here we go. And I would hate to lie to you, you know? I want you to have a good travel experience, so, you know. Put up with Tony ranting for 2 minutes. Or put up with making a trifle mistake on your trip. You pick and choose. So fold it like this. This is gonna save a lot of space in your luggage. And if you do this, roll like 5 shirts, you can fit them all like this in the space of 1 shirt. You doing this. Does that make sense? Okay. Alright. So that's my other bit of advice to you. For goodness sake, don't forget the water. Don't forget to hydrate, okay? Get a cooler with you if you have to, especially on a road trip. Get the water, get the cooler, get the ice. Alright, get snacks, okay? Make sandwiches from home. That's how you're gonna save money, okay? Alright. You have to get one of these. No more excuses. You have to get a travel bag so you can put all your toiletries in it safely. And it fits through the TSA, okay? So you put this in your bag. Alright? Or your handbag, your purse, whatever. I have a tri-level one like this that hangs, okay? It's so helpful to have it hang from like the towel rack in hotel bathrooms. It's wonderful, okay? But there are 3 essential things you need. Lotion, especially you go somewhere cold and dry. I can't tell you how many times even the nicest verbos don't have lotion. It pisses me off. I'm like, I spent $2,000 on this place. You don't even have a small box, even shampoo. So bring with you and bring empty ones that you can actually fill up with. Even hotels, they give you the bar soap for free, the lotion for free. So fill up your empty containers. Don't be considerate, okay? Don't take the whole bottle, okay? Don't fill up like a big bottle, just a little travel sample kit so you have some extra on you, and that can help you save money in the long term, okay? Get hand sanitizer. So many bathrooms on this last trip I went on did not even have soap. It was disgusting. So, get hand sanitizer, okay? Bath bomb. Okay, some places have those, what they call it, garden baths or, you know, claw bathtubs. And you're like, oh, maybe even the bathtub, you know, make sure you wash it because you don't know who but was in that stinky tub. But after you wash it, and then you throw in a bath bomb, and it's going to be a nice added thing to look forward to on your trip, a nice bonus relaxation. So bring it just in case there's like a tub for you to soak in, okay? So those are my top 3 travel kit recommendations for you to bring. Okay, I just bought this hand sanitizer yesterday, because after Panama City Beach, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I think there was 1 bathroom in total. In that 4 days that had soap. It was disgusting. Okay, so alright, so there you go, guys. Obviously I didn't show everything. You're obviously going to want to bring your toothbrush, your mouthwash, your floss, you know, blah blah blah, deodorant, blah 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 blah. Okay, but I'm just showing you the essentials not to forget, okay? Also part of the travel fund, if you don't do this enveloping stuff, you feel like it's a waste of time, bring cash. These solar flares wiped out so much. There was a place that just completely, the other day, happened twice now. No, sorry, cash only. So just bring cash. My honest personal recommendation, $200 bare minimum. Anywhere between $200 and $500. So it's not $1,000 if someone mugs you and you regret it because now they took all $1,000, right? Not too little, like $100, where you're like, oh, this wasn't enough to get me through, you know? If there's a freaking zombie apocalypse, like, you need cash, okay? Goodness sake. Alright? Stop trusting and relying on just plastic to get you through and metal. Alright? Oh my gosh, how many times do I have to repeat myself? No, I'm just playing, but I have to be serious for some poopsies out there, because some people are not listening. They're just drifting off, okay? Alright. Get all sorts of different bags, okay? I have that travel kit, I have a backpack, I have a duffel bag, I have a luggage, I have another bigger luggage. Get different sizes for different occasions and trips, okay? Bingo. Understood, comprende? Okay, awesome. Bring bandages. Bring, electronic wipes to disinfect. You're on the computer, you're eating pizza at the hotel desk. You need wipes. Wipey. Okay, hand wipes. Things of that occasion. I'm saying bandages because in case you cut yourself accidentally, you don't have to go all the way to the CVS or, bother the front desk. You just got yourself prepared. So those are things I always bring with me. Okay? I have some here right now. See, I'm serious. I'm dead freaking serious. I'm not messing around. Okay. So this is also a laptop bag in one. So I used to carry a different backpack, a different laptop bag, a duffel bag, my luggage. I was like, this is too much. So I got just a bag that's also a laptop bag. So I can put everything in one. Okay. It's spacious, it's durable. For goodness sake, don't put shaving cream, mouthwash, anything liquid in where your electronic bag is gonna be. Trust me, I learned my lesson, okay? Shaving cream will erupt in a plane, I tell you. Don't do it. Pens, don't do it. Waters, not like they're gonna let you have it in anyway, but don't do it, okay? Alright. So, did I cover everything? That was half an hour. Wow. I didn't think I could possibly talk for half an hour straight about this subject, but here we are. And just have fun with it, don't set a date too close in proximity to when you're having the urgency or temptation to travel, or you really feel like, oh, I want to go see this place. Make sure it's like a month plus away, so you have something to look forward to, and you're not constantly spending that money on the next trip. There's people who go every 2-3 weeks on trips, you're spending so much money and you're not saving money, and especially, it's always the people who have like a lot of debt, just put money aside, pay the debt first, before you spoil yourself, okay? Alright, I would say I would just make like a 5-10 year plan, become more financially stable and secure, and then you can start to spend more on things like that, okay? So, yeah, don't overdo it. So, you're not tempted, set something 3, 4, 6 months down the line. You have something to look forward to. It gives you motivation to keep going. And, it's a beautiful part of life to have something like that to look forward to. So, yeah. And obviously help you save more money down the line, especially if you work for somebody and, travel's not a deduction for you. You definitely need to save that money then, and not just like travel every month or so, unless you can afford it, obviously. So if you're lucky, you travel as part of your business, that's good. But make sure you set aside travel for you personally. A business trip to Arizona is not the same fun as a solo personal trip with loved ones to Arizona. Does that make sense? So, yeah. My opinion also on rental cars, don't be spending so much. No one knows who you are anyway. Is it worth it to get a nice, flashy, expensive rental car? My opinion, it's never worth it. I'm always happiest with the tiniest car. You know why? Because I get to try a new vehicle, and that feels just as nice as a Rolls Royce to me, not that I've even ever tried a Rolls Royce, but, yeah, I went to Rhode Island earlier this this year and I tried a hybrid electric car for the first time ever, and that was so freaking fun to me. The car was nothing special, but it was hybrid. I was like, oh my gosh, so that brought me more joy for a lot less money. You see what I'm saying? So, if you are just gonna stay in a hotel in the downtown of a city, don't bother getting a car. Just shuttle or Uber to the hotel and then walk around. You really don't need to waste so much money and wait 40 minutes in line to get your rental car anyway, So, yeah, that's how they get you. When you book flights, they're like, oh, you also need a hotel. Oh, you also need a rental car. Oh, also, you need to sell your firstborn. Like, get real, right? Stop tempting me, website. You know what I mean? Like, be smart, okay? Play it smart and think long term. Like I said, think ahead. Think always your next trip. If you constantly travel, you're gonna be like me. You're thinking about the next trip, right? So again, just think ahead of time and think, how can I save the most so I can be able to afford more nicer travel? Maybe I can do a cheapy travel in January and I'll do a more expensive travel in March, because I saved up. So my favorite time of year personally is to travel in the first 6 months of the year, 4, 5, 6 months, where it's cooler weather. That's also, I like traveling when there's less people off season, November through February, March, right? April sometimes. Less people, it's cheaper to travel then. I traveled to Arizona last year during July, the middle of July, the hottest of the hot. It was dead. It was cheap. It was perfect, So, you gotta be smart sometimes. That trip would have been double the price, maybe at least 50% the price more had I traveled in September, So, yeah, and I don't really like huge crowds of people and a lot of noise, so that's perfect for me. So you gotta do what works best for you. If you're an extrovert and you love nightlife, you probably want to go during season, right? So just make sure you check the weather ahead of time. Nowadays, the weather apps show you only up to 10 days ahead. Sometimes that can be unpredictable. Go on weather.com. They show you beyond that. They show you 2 weeks to a month ahead of time. So you can get a best guess of the climate and what that's going to look like for you. Because, if you rent a nice big pool house, but you can't swim in it because there's a thunderstorm or a hurricane, that sucks. So make sure you plan with the weather accordingly and make sure your trips are refundable up to 3 days to a week in advance. So that, if you fall ill or the weather's unpredictable or some emergency unfolds financially or in your life in general, you are prepared and you didn't just waste your money on a non-refundable ticket. This applies to hotels, airlines, every single thing you've purchased, rental car, everything. Okay. All right. Also, pick up your food, stop ordering delivery. Even if you can stop ordering takeout during your trip, just get some quick, easy to go stuff from the grocery store. Honestly, that's what I do when I solo travel. I don't really go out to eat. That's awkward as hell anyway. I don't see myself sitting alone in a restaurant. That's just so weird to me. Not that I'm saying that's weird if you do it. I'm saying to me, that's weird to me, okay? I have to be clear sometimes because some comments are ignorant and they say things I never said, okay? So, yeah. So I just want to make that loud and clear. It's fine if you do it. Personally, I'll go to the Publix, get like $8 chicken and pasta dinner, whatever, or I'll get like a salad, or I'll get something like sushi or whatever, Sometimes I get the chicken with the potato salad and the macaroni salad, fine. Whatever I decide to get, I'll snatch it, go back to my house or the hotel, eat it there, Typically, if I stay in a hotel, I more go out to eat, or sometimes I'll do the takeout or delivery. It just depends on my mood. But if I'm in a house, there's a kitchen right there. I'll cook it myself. Why am I spending $20 extra to tip someone? It doesn't make sense, So, yeah. So I still like to enjoy once in a while. I do going out to eat. Enjoy that. I do enjoy going out to eat. Excuse me. Maybe like once every couple weeks. That's about it nowadays. I don't like spending too much money on food. We spend hundreds a month every month consistently on food anyway. I'm not talking me and my partner. I'm talking is so expensive sometimes. So, you know, you still gotta enjoy though. You still gotta treat yourself, you know, and the memories of what sticks with you. So traveling is more rewarding and fulfilling because of the memory, you know. You can't get that stolen or taken from you. You're always gonna remember that nice experience that put a smile on your face right away. You know, I'm thinking of Arizona, I'm thinking of Rhode Island, I'm thinking of Mexico. Twice I've been. I'm thinking of like upcoming trips I want to go on, like Iceland. You know, that immediately gets you motivated, puts a smile on your face, gives you that energy boost. You know, so you know, I hope this motivates you to travel more. I think a lot more people are definitely traveling. I heard international travel with Marriott alone, I read an article, went up 2.5% alone within this past year compared to last year. So, and domestic is down 0.4%, so that means more people are going international travel. So that's wonderful. You know, more people are finding ways and means and, you know, spending it. You know, it's not like people don't have that money. People have the money. A lot of people have a lot of money, okay? Let's be real. They're just not, a lot of people just not spending it. They're just holding on to it. You know, I'm telling you, life is too damn short to be staring at a number on a screen that's not worth shit. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You gotta spend and invest in yourself. You know, that's where the greatest reward comes from in life. If you're holding on to it so tight, you could die tomorrow. What's the point? You didn't live. You know, that's something I regretted when I was younger. You know, I wish I wasn't so, you know, I held on to so much. In other ways I didn't, but when it came to travel, I was just like, you know, I'm not gonna do it. And now that I'm older, I'm like, was I so dumb? You know, like, why didn't I do that before? You know, but it's okay. We all live and we learn. You know, we're here. But yeah, I just mostly want to motivate you to keep traveling, to keep enjoying life. And yes, if you're thinking about it, book that hotel. If you're thinking about it, book that Airbnb, Vrbo, whatever. You know, do it. I'm telling you, make a plan. Okay, you can do this. If you have to even pick up the extra shift to work the extra job, make that job motivating by saying, I don't need this second or third job. I'm only working it so I can travel. And a lot of times people, what they do is they go to France and Spain and they work their part-time jobs and they use that money to enjoy and luxuriate in their surroundings. That's fine, you know. You know, maybe you have a goal, say 50, 60,000, immigrate to a certain different country, live there, because a lot of times these countries will require that amount of money in order to immigrate there. So whatever the case may be, what's on your heart, figure that out, meditate on it, journal it. You know, where do you want your next destination to be? Slap it on a vision board. So this is as much advice from the heart as I could possibly give you in terms of traveling. I hope you are blessed with many more travels to come. I hope that you find so many places that make you feel like home. And I wish you all safe flights and safe drives wherever you are going. I love you all so much. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check me out on TonyBomboni.com to book and sign up for your own personal custom ASMR video, just like this one. Thank you again, Jenny. Jenny, I hope you have a fabulous vacation with your family and with yourself. So take care, guys. See you. Couple more bits of advice I forgot. One about packing. So make sure you pack, I would say 3 days ahead of time in advance, so you're not pressured. Because I know last minute, last day, you don't even feel like packing anymore, you know. And sometimes you're in a rush, you forget things. So 3 days ahead, okay? If it's a long trip, like, you're gonna have to pack 2 weeks in advance, I'm telling you, because it's going to take a while for you to figure out exactly everything you need. If you're staying 10-hour flight away for 2 weeks to a month, pack 2 weeks ahead of time. Short trip, road trip, 3 days, okay? Alright, so another advice, if you're really worried about saving money, live in a hostel with these people, or have a shared expense, a shared accommodation trip where you go with like 6 different friends. You each split $200 each. You stay in a nice big house without breaking the bank, okay? So think about it. You know, who can you get to go with you? So there's that. So that's all I wanted to say. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye, poopsies.